boys and girls, it is Miss Oates and welcome back to another reading review video. Today we're going to be talking about author's purpose. So by the end of this video, you are going to be able to understand that authors write informational text for different reasons, including to answer a question, explain a topic, or describe details about a topic. And you will also be able to identify the main purpose of a text. And our focus standard for this video is 2 RI.2.6, identify the main purpose of a text. Let's go ahead and get started by talking about what exactly is the main purpose or the author's purpose. Well, the purpose or main purpose is what an author of a text wants to tell, describe, or explain to a reader. There are thousands of books out there, especially informational books, about thousands of different things written by thousands of different authors, and they're all trying to tell us something. That's why they wrote a book. Think about when you're writing something or you're wanting to share. There's a purpose. There's a reason you are wanting to share that with your family, your friends, or your teacher, or with your classmates here at school. So the main purpose, what exactly are you doing? Are you telling, are you describing, or are you explaining something? Let's dive a little bit deeper into those definitions. So first, let's talk about the details. Details are very, very important. Details are used to tell what something is like or to explain something. So in a story or in a nonfiction or fiction story, you use lots and lots of details because you want to explain yourself so that the readers understand what you're trying to say. You have to be a detective too, boys and girls, especially when you're reading something that's new to you. You have to be a detective. You have to look at those details to figure out what exactly is the author trying to tell you. Is the author trying to answer a question? Is the author trying to explain something? Is the author trying to describe something? We're going to go ahead and dive a little bit deeper into those texts now. So when an author is trying to explain something to you, they're going to include steps on how to show how something works or how to do something. Think about a cookbook. If your mom or dad cooks in a kitchen, they may follow a recipe. Well, the main purpose of a recipe is to explain how to cook something. Raise your hand if you love to make slime. Well, looking at this illustration right here, or not illustration, these photographs, excuse me, the main purpose of these photographs is to show you the steps on how to make slime. That'd just be like if I were to log on the internet, how to make slime and pull up the web page. The purpose of that web page is to show me the steps on how to create slime. So I can read that, take the steps, make the slime, and be successful. Another way that authors use, Another purpose that authors may write is to describe. When an author describes something, they're using key details to describe a topic or a person. So think about a biography. This is a biography on who was Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin is an awesome historical figure that I highly suggest y'all learn about. He is an important man in our American history, and he is an inventor, and he's done lots of things for our country. But who exactly is he? This book, written by Mr. Dennis Braden Ferdelin. This book, written by Dennis, is used to describe Ben Franklin's life and what exactly he's famous for. Think about all those National Geographic books about the different animals as well. The purpose of those books is to describe the animals so that you learn a little bit more about them. Now, when you are reading a nonfiction book or an informational text, you'll mostly notice that most authors explain or describe something. But sometimes the author can write to do a third thing, and that is to answer a question. And when the author is writing to answer, they're answering a specific question. So they're using details to give you a specific answer. Sometimes you'll find books like this. Questions and Animals About Oceans. Obviously, if I were to flick through the pages of this book, I would see lots of questions related to oceans. And the author of this book, Miss Miles Kelly, will give me the answers that I am looking for about ocean life. So now that we learned about what is the author's purpose and we learned about to explain, to describe, and to answer a question, let's go ahead and practice. So I have here an article called Sign Language. And as we're reading this story, I want us to think about what is the author's purpose? Why did the author write this story? What was he trying to explain, to describe, or was he trying to answer a question? So let's go ahead and read about sign language. Follow along as I read. Sign language. How can deaf people communicate? Ooh, that ends in a question mark. So obviously they must be asking some sort of question. Deaf people are unable to hear noises. So when people talk, they cannot hear them. They have adapted to this disability by using sign language to communicate. Sign language is the use of hands and arms to speak. Different hand movements can represent different words. Some words that don't have a hand movement are spelled out using the alphabet and sign language, such as names and places. So, how was the author's purpose most conveyed in this story? Well, the author's purpose in this particular story was to answer a question. And I know this because if I look at the very top of the beginning of the story, it says, how is one of my question words, how can deaf people communicate? And there is that question mark. But what was the author's purpose for writing this text? Why did the author write this story? Well, the author wrote this story to inform the reader on how deaf people communicate this. I know this because the author talks about how they've adapted to this disability by using sign language to communicate. Sign language is the use of hands and arms to speak. So basically what this author is trying to tell us is what exactly is sign language. Sign language is a way for deaf people to communicate, and it's the use of their hands and of their arms to spell out words. My final question is, what exactly is sign language? Well, sign language, looking at the story, is the use of hands and arms to speak. All right, boys and girls, that is it for this video on author's purpose. Remember, authors are the people that write the books, and when they're writing to us, they are trying to either describe something, to explain how to do something, or they're trying to answer a question. And it is our job as readers to figure out what exactly are those authors trying to tell us. I'll see you again next time, boys and girls. Have a wonderful day. Bye.